people to come in?
Yeah, pretty much. People just come through and then just like, little by little.
Yeah. Let me
Uh,
get on my phone too.
all right. So how did this whole conversation came about anyway?
Okay, so is anybody in here yet? Hold on.
Not yet. I don't think so.
Okay.
Little by little.
Okay. And shout out to the person who disliked it before it even went live. Y'all some haters. The hate is real, yo.
Hey,
Okay.
sometimes, man, haters are fuel. Sometimes the haters give you fuels and and your backpack or something. So
Yeah,
propel you forward.
that's true. Okay, so basically, on my last live, I know you popped in for a little bit, but at one point we got into the whole topic of like, well, one of my subscribers kind of was talking about this about being loyal to a girlfriend versus being loyal to a wife, and I guess they felt like because the girlfriend isn't your wife, then technically, is it cheating? Hi, Cali Travels. If you, I don't know, sleep with another woman. So I was kind of like, well, if you want to bounce around and sleep with multiple women and do whatever, then just don't claim nobody as your girlfriend. Just say that you're single, whatever. But I feel like once you start claiming people and telling them you're my girlfriend, like she's going to expect some deal of loyalty. Like she's going to expect for you to be faithful to her and not cheat. Like I feel like that's a basic expectation, is it not? I don't know. That's my opinion, but I guess he and I've seen like one or two other felt otherwise.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, like sometimes we don't understand our perspective, right? We have certain belief system and we don't know why we believe the way we believe, and then therefore, so say for example, if you grew up in a culture to which it's normal for guys to just go around and sleep about and all that stuff, and women supposed to be virtuous and not do that, so then therefore, even in present day, that residue will continue to fester amongst the men. And that's why whenever like a guy cheat, then to society it's not really a big deal, but whenever a woman does, then it's a very big deal.
Right.
But the thing is, like, I think we first have to understand why do men cheat, right?
Yes, please enlighten us, because I'm sure a lot of us ladies want to know why do y'all cheat. Let us know.
All right, okay. And like at the beginning of every relationship, right? Men don't like to invest in that relationship emotionally. Women tend to do that a lot more.
Okay.
And the reason why men tend to actually hold back when it comes to our emotion, when we tend to we don't emotionally invest in the relationship, is because if the relationship goes down south, then it's less likely for us to express our dismay, express our disappointment. So, for example, if let's say your girl cheat on you within 3 months of going out, but you wasn't really that invested in her, then you're gonna be disappointed, but you're not gonna go about slash the chick's tires and all this other shit and stuff like that, going all crazy. Because
Mm-hmm.
society look down upon men for doing things like that, right? For actually expressing their emotional outrage
Mm-hmm.
when they are emotionally hurt. So therefore, at the beginning, they step back. So and the woman, they all in right at the beginning. That's when like when a woman start going out with a dude, she cut off all her friends. She do a whole bunch of shit because she just try to put her best foot forward in the relationship in order to convince the guy she's wifey material,
Yeah.
right? But in the guy on the other hand, the guy on the other hand, he's looking at like, well, I'm not sure about you yet. You might love me all today, and then tomorrow you might cut me off. And then if I believe you, then now I'm gonna come out looking like a sucker.
So it's kind of
So
like a defense mechanism.
it is, yeah, it is a defense mechanism because even though we men, we're not supposed to show our emotional side, but we hate being vulnerable. We hate to put in a situation to which now we get hurt, and then due to social change, social um, expectation, we can't even express how we truly feel about the situation, right?
Mm.
So that is one aspect.
Okay.
And also, you have to understand, like, when men get into a relationship, right? Because so men, we try to play the field. Hey Siri, how you doing, baby girl? So when we first get into a relationship, right? So men try to play the field and stuff like that. It's like a number game to us.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything that we do in life, right? It revolve around a certain habits. So then our habits, create our pattern, and then habits sometimes are hard to break.
Yeah.
So then just because we just started going out with a chick doesn't mean that we're automatically gonna change our habits. And if our habits is like, we're constantly sleeping around and stuff like that, and then now we're in a relationship, we might have to try to detoxify ourselves. But we can't detoxify ourselves or actually change the habit if we are unsure of the person that we're with. So when a man started going out with, let's say a man got a girlfriend and stuff like that, right? And then he's trying to do good, he's like, all right, you know what? All these booty calls that I had, I'm gonna stop calling them, right? I'm gonna try to stay away from all these girls that used to be friends with benefit. So he's gonna try to be good. But for some weird reason, all of a sudden, all these girls now start calling him
Uh-huh.
because they miss that attention, you know? And then now the guy's placed in a position, he's like, damn, this girl was ignoring me all this time. Like she would wait all this time before she texts me back. And all of a sudden, I'm trying to do good, have a good girlfriend and all this shit. All of a sudden, she's offering me pussy, right? Throwing all these little back shot backs. You know what you missing? All this shit, right? You know how you women do, right? Y'all trifling
I
sometimes.
don't do that, but I know how some do.
Yeah, women in general, right? Women can be trifling, right? So then, and we're just like, we're similar to like recovering alcoholic, right? So we're like one blowjob away from fucking shit up.
Oh my God.
And then, so we have all these temptation thrown at us when we're trying to do good. And now, so we're looking at it like, well, she's just my girl. All right, I'm gonna fuck this chick one more time, and then I'm gonna move on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you end up, you fuck around on your girl, and then now you feel like shit because she's a good girl. And then you're thinking about like, damn, what if she does the same thing to me? Is she doing the same thing to me? Is she doing the same thing to me? Is this bitch cheating on me? What the fuck? So now you become paranoid over your own action. Because if you can do that to her, then what's stopping her from doing this to you? And that's why a lot of time you see a lot of these guys that are extra jealous, that are overly jealous about what their girlfriend is doing, what time they're coming home, who they're talking to online and all this shit, but they themselves are cheating.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they are cheating, they are themselves become insecure about their own relationship.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So then when it comes to the difference between, I guess, how you go about it when it's a Buff Curry, whatever. This Buff Curry is my friend in real life, AJ. Whatever, Stanley. Anyways, okay. So when it comes to the difference between, I can hear my echo. A girlfriend and a wife. Do you feel like this? Most men, are they less hesitant to cheat on a girlfriend because they feel like, I don't know, that loyalty isn't like necessary, I guess, or it's not required because, I don't know, she's not a wife. I'm not bound to her necessarily. Like, what? Like, how do you feel about that? And so first of all, I asked for everyone watching. I asked Art to do this because he's married, so he's experienced, of course, what men think being single versus what you think now that you're married. So, how would you describe like how you felt about that, say before you were married versus how you view it now? Like, do you feel like there should be a difference between how you treat a girlfriend versus a wife, or like, what is your thoughts on that?
Like, I think um sometimes men put in too much emphasis on the wife part. Because what I mean by this, right, is like when you stop seeing, okay, like you get to see my interaction with my girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why do I also still refer? We've been married for like over 10 years now, but yet I still refer to her as my girl. Why do you think that is? Because it's like the wife is there's that holy element there's this like this pedestal to which you put that your woman on, and then certain um certain ideology that you used to have towards her when she was your girlfriend, then it's kind of like the sex appeal almost removed away because she's now your wife. Oh, she's my wife. I can't see her as this sexual object that I once was, you know. But versus like, as your woman, you're supposed to objectify your woman, you know. You're supposed to be like, like, okay, when I see Siri and shit like that, I'm supposed to be the one smacking her ass. That's my job, right? But if I don't see her as this girl that that loving, that frugal, that type of erotic type of relationship that we once had when we first started going out, then my attraction towards her start to diminish because now I'm looking at her as, oh, that's my wife. And I think that's where a lot of time men, we actually fail at this because we no longer objectify our women, because objectification, that's what got our animalistic instinct flowing and actually keep that attraction going between the partners. And now here's the thing, right? So with marriage, of course, there's a lot more responsibility that comes with it.
Yeah.
Right. But you also have to make sure that you keep the playfulness. It is essential. The playful characteristic you have with your partner, that type of bond is necessary to have, because otherwise it's gonna feel like just work and duty, but it's the responsibility, but it's not freedom. And then so now that's why guys who happen to be in serious relationship and they feel that they are duty bound, and then now that's when they go outside of marriage or outside of the relationship and cheat, because to them that's them try to they found that's that newfound freedom away from responsibility.
Well, I mean, I've never been married, so I can't speak from experience when it comes to that, but it does seem like when it comes to being married, people have so much of like this, I don't know, negative thing that they attach to it, like the lack of freedom. And it's interesting how you say that you're supposed to objectify your girl or whatever.
Hell yeah.
Like as women, whenever we hear that, we think of that like in a negative way. Whenever we hear that men objectify us, most women are like, no, that's bad. Like, I don't want you to objectify me. And you're saying that y'all should, or that, okay.
Yes. All right, let me elaborate further. Right? Women have no issue being objectified. They have a problem being objectified by the wrong men.
Okay.
So therefore, it's like, let's say, a guy walk up to you in the street and shit like that and try to holler at you. And depends on if you find him attractive, you might repel him. You might, ew, what a creep, get away from me. Or you like, hi, you change your tune and shit like that and you give that number. So then therefore he's doing the same thing as the hobo's doing, but for some reason you're not attracted to the hobo. You're attracted to the 6-pack, 6 foot tall, whatever the fuck is, whatever picture you have in your head and shit like that.
Yeah.
So then therefore you have no issue being objectified by a guy like this. So it's the same thing as, you are in that relationship, then fuck yeah, you're supposed to continue to objectify your woman because she liked that attention. And what's the point of her going outside of the marriage to actually get that attention from other men?
Yeah.
And when she can't get it from you.
True. So then the mindset, the way in which men view their girl before getting married, that should remain.
Yeah, that should remain. Exactly.
So, like this whole, I don't know, I guess holy thing that people put wives on, like this pedestal, is what kind of it almost is damaging in a way, because it changes the way men view us afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Because we both have a level of responsibility to keep the flame going, right? Because it's like, if you're in a relationship, obviously there are times that you not want to just be intimate with your partner, right? You might not feel like it and stuff like that. And there are also times that like you want to be intimate, but he's not in the mood. So there's always like, people think that just because you get married, then like all romance stops and all this other thing stops, but there's still this dance, there's still this that wooing factor, there's still this courtship that's still into play. And then because it's like there's foreplay, put it this way, like the type of shit that like I would have done when I was single, I still do that to my girl, right? And therefore it's fun. It's fun to objectify her. It's fun to be able to actually get in her mind, twist it, and being that pervert, being a pervert. So if I'm gonna be a pervert, I got the perfect person to be a pervert too. I don't have to do that to a stranger, or I don't feel the need to make some random woman feel special.
Okay.
Because I can do that to her.
Mm-hmm.
And oh yeah, go ahead. What was the question?
So okay. It sounds like everything that you're doing now, the way that you treated her now, you were treating her the same way before you got married. Is kind of like what I'm getting.
Yeah, but there's also there's a lot of ups and downs, right? Because it's not like I did not figure this shit out, right? There's like, okay, my girl, I put her through a lot of bullshit, and some of the talking points, some of the rhetorics that these guys are talking about, at some point I did believe in that. I didn't think that it was necessary to be. At some point I didn't believe that it was necessary for men to be faithful. Based on my environment, based on what everybody else around me was doing, and as well as like I had no dick discipline. So then therefore I can it's easy to to logically make a valid argument. However, we tend to forget the emotional aspect of what's going on, because women are more emotional. So therefore, when they try to explain how they think about a situation, that's why they talk about how it feels versus how it, versus how they think about it. And men, on the other hand, we are more rational, or at least we try to be more rational. So then therefore, we try to get our way by attacking the argument based on a logical perspective. So then it's like this. All right. I gotta say this to us, all right? If as a man you want to stop cheating because of your woman, then that's not the right way to go about it. Because you're not doing it for you, you're doing it for her. And you're gonna fail. Because you have not learned the reason why it's not a good.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Okay. Let me read some of these comments. I haven't been keeping up with the comments. Let's see. Communication, understanding, love and respect needs to be the foundation of a relationship and a marriage. That's true. Siri said marriage is a responsibility. People don't see responsibility as something good. Also true. It's a turnoff when she's on a high pedestal. Thinking means being freaky. Radical Latino. Wait, so you mean I can't mess with Christina from down the block with the big butt? I don't like that. Wait, who believes in polygamy?
Well, I mean, let's talk about polygamy for a minute, right?
Oh, my friend's trying to come in.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you finish up before I.
Okay. All right. So, and here's the thing, right? Like this is my perspective on this whole issue. Is that like regardless of your ideology, you can always find a partner that will accommodate to that belief system, that will go for whatever you believe in.
Like being in a relationship or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, say for example, if you are the type of guy that believe in polygamy, then you might get a woman that would accommodate that. If you are the type of guy that believe in open relationship, you might find a woman that accommodate that. Yeah. So there are people out there for any type of relationship, right? But however, some of these guys, what they try to do is like they want to be able to do this dirt out there, and yet still want to have the same type of loving characteristic from their main partner, right? And therefore, when a woman allow you to do whatever you want with your dick, right? She accept the fact that, okay, my man's a cheater. He's going to go out there. He's going to keep screwing around left and right. So a part of herself has to die. She has to look at you as in like, okay, I need to stop caring about this motherfucker because, his heart doesn't belong to me. So then therefore, why should I be caring? Why should I give give him my all, my emotion? Why should I actually care about him? So then therefore, when even when you, let's say that, okay, let's give for example Snoop Dogg, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you really think Snoop Dogg's can is chilling with his wife somewhere in the porch smoking a blunt, having a good old time laughing with each other? No, I don't think they're doing that. Even though like she would she's okay with Snoop Dogg messing about, but she's looking at Snoop Dogg not as like in a caring, loving type of way. She's looking at Snoop Dogg as like, well, you got the money, you're taking care of the kids, I'm here, whatever, right? You do what you're doing as long as you're taking care of me. I don't care about what you do, right? So then therefore, I don't think she's looking at Snoop Dogg as in like always looking forward to see him. When Snoop Dogg come home, be like, hey, babe, how you doing? Giving Snoop Dogg a hug and all this shit. I don't think they're doing that. So then a lot of guys who find themselves in those type of relationships to which like they're cheating and their woman is okay with it, then their nurturing aspect is missing in that relationship. The woman stopped caring. So then she is there only to raise the kid. She don't really give a fuck about you as a partner. And then, she's going to cook and clean, do the laundry and all this shit. But laughing with you, sharing the type of joke, the type of intimacy, it's not going to be there. And a lot of time, what tends to happen in those relationships, right? When the kids get old enough, when the kids leave the nest, these relationships tend to finish. Because now once the kids are gone, what else to talk about? Why don't you go back to your side chicks? You don't need me here. I don't need you here anymore. So then they grow apart and they, the relationship fall apart. And then now, because the woman is free now, she can do whatever the fuck she wants. And now you mad. It'd be like, oh, you know what? This bitch divorced me after 20 years, but the relationship been over for 10 years. And then, you all mad, you all pissed off. You're like, yeah, I'm going to join MGTOW. All these women they asked for, blah, 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 and all this shit. But there was nothing there in the relationship. The relationship died a long time ago. There's nothing you guys have in common at all. But, let's say she divorced you when she's like 45, 50. She probably still look good. And then now she's going out there. It's her turn to play the field. And now you pissed off. Yeah. Because, she took like, she took half of your shit. And then, or even if it's not half of the shit, but, let's say that, she get the house and then you get an apartment and all this stuff like that. And then it's not going to end well for you. So I would say if, fucking around is important to you, then find yourself a chick that will accept that. But part of the relationship is going to be missing. Right?
I feel like as a guy, if you find a girl that is okay with that, then she must not really care about you. Like she does not. Because I don't understand. I don't think a woman can genuinely care for a guy and be okay with that. I don't know. Maybe she's out there doing the same thing, but I just don't see how that's possible.
But here's the dilemma as well, right? Here's the dilemma. Because, nobody's perfect, right? Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure there are like some things that you might, like about your man and you might hate about your man. So then therefore it's like a balancing act, does the good outweigh the bad? So therefore, and some of these women, when they actually get themselves in a relationship to which, the guy is cheating, and the greatest fear is that like, okay, this motherfucker is a good person, right? He's a good guy. If I leave his ass, and then he gets to the next person, and then he stopped fucking around, he stopped being a cheater, then all that hard work that I've put into the relationship, some other bitch gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
So now you stuck in catch-22. So it's like you wish that he would stop cheating, but at the same time, that if you leave him, there's a chance that someone else gonna get what you have. Mm-hmm. And if there's a lot of good quality about him, and now it fucking sucks. So, whether he's a really good father, whether he's, he's like, taking care of the household and all this shit, he's, hardworking individual and all this stuff. And the only issue that he has, he just can't keep his dick in his pants. Right. So I can understand why some women kind of go for this, but at the same time, it takes a toll on their soul because now they either like develop an addiction in order to deal with their stress, their coping mechanism and shit like that, right? Or they stop respecting the guy as an individual, you know like even though the guy might be a provider and all this shit, right? But every time that he try to do something, she just constantly question his authority. And that's why sometimes you have all these relationships, the guy want to complain like, oh yeah, this bitch don't respect me, I'm tired of this shit, right? Because there's so many unresolved factors that happen in that relationship, and then it's very hard for her to trust you, to trust your decision, to trust you as a leader. So now this is the caveat, because a lot of guys who cheat, right, they don't want to leave their wives or their girlfriends, you know but now when the emotional aspect from the woman is gone, from their girlfriend is gone, from their wives is gone, and it becomes that murky water to which like the guy still crave that nurture, the guy still crave that intimacy. And then now that's when you have the side chick talking about like, man, I can do that thing that your wife don't want to do, and then that's when a lot of these guys, they're sucker for it, and they actually fall for the side chick, and that's the fucked up part. Instead of actually standing up and confront the situation, and be like, all right, this is what the fuck I want in the relationship. This is what I think I need. That's important to me. And sometimes your woman can see reason and be like, you know what? I think I can give you that. Yeah, have you ever heard of a YouTuber called Super Slash 75?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he's a black YouTuber and everything. He's married, and sometimes he like he do he do his things from time to time, right? But his wife, him and his wife, they have that understanding to which, like, I mean, I don't know how they are in the relationship, but his wife allowed that type of shit to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like I said, to each his own. But the reason why I don't see it as something that is necessary is because I understand the distraction it is. Try to, like, I like my dynamic with my girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that I can just joke around, like I can tell her whatever the fuck I want to tell her. And then even when we get into an argument, I can argue, right? I can, she pissed me off, I'll let her know what's up. But when you are the type of guy that is, cheating, and then whenever you get into an argument, she can always use that against you, right?
Yeah.
And then the lack of respect is always going to be there. And even when you are in the right, she always going to feel like she can disrespect you and shit like that. And it's hard for you to put your foot down and be the man of the house. And which is what we see in a lot of, African-American culture, African-American community, to which like the women have the respect for them, because for so long they have been known to be as community dick. Right? And then the lack of respect is always going to be there. And even what's up, AJ? She's always going to feel like she can disrespect you and shit like that. And it's hard for you to put your foot down. Hey, do me a favor. Is it possible for you to mute a lot of,
yeah, hold on. I got you.
Turn the volume on your phone down. Oh, you have to get off. Okay. Wait, what are you saying? What about women who don't respect men who they want to control?
Well, listen.
Be down with multiple women. What? It starts with a good bait. What you talking about, Radical Latino?
Look, there's this illusion that men have, right? They think that fucking around with multiple women is what makes you a man. Right? But your ability to say no to a woman is what makes you a man. You gotta have, your moral stand is more important than the woman. Say for example, like if my moral and my principles is more important, so then therefore when my girl try to ask me to do something that goes against my moral, then I'm gonna say no. And that's why a lot of guys don't really understand that. So then let's say that, for example, right, they get into an argument with their with their girls, and then now they're really pissed off at the fact that they feel like their women have one up on them. They lose an argument even though they were right and shit like that. So then going out and get another chick in order to make yourself feel like a man again, it's not gonna resolve the problem. Because when you're gonna get home, if your woman's still treating you like shit, then guess what? You haven't won anything. All you're doing is like, you go over there, take that rage and frustration onto some other chick, when you could have just argue with your woman and actually have that, that good old angry sex with her. It's the same shit.
Okay. So real quick, guys, AJ and Whitney, they're two actual friends of mine. A lot of you already saw Whitney. I did a collab video with her, Girl Talk video, and this is my boy AJ. So I guess you guys y'all want to give your opinions as well. Let's do ladies first. What is your thought?
So first of all, I'm watching Prince. Prince is on Netflix right now.
Oh.
So, but I heard something about objectifying, so I had to call in. I don't know what you guys have been talking about. Hey, AJ.
Hello.
Hi, friend. What's your name? Sorry.
Art Benaca.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
I like some of the points that you made, but me personally, I don't like the word objectify. I think it has like a negative connotation to it. It's in the same boat with dehumanizing and violence to me. So, okay. But I see your perspective. I think the word compliment is better. That's just my opinion. But what was the question, Christina?
Okay, this is why I say objectify, right? Because you're looking at it from a because men and women, we tend to speak different language, right? I usually say that men are from Mars and women are from Uranus. But this is why I say objectify, because if we actually have to think about, like, if a female ever had the chance to get inside of a man's head to see exactly what he's thinking, these gonna be some of the most dirtiest thought that you could ever think of, right? Yes, we're some crazy motherfuckers. So, however, it's like, why do you so now when it comes to the objectification, is that is part of our animalistic nature. I'm pretty sure at some point I'm not sure if you're married, Miss Wit, right? I don't know if you're married.
Happily single, focused on my career right now.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
But at some point, every time you actually come across a guy that you like, you also probably objectify him too, right? To a certain degree. That's what gets you turned on. It's that whole objectification. At that time, you see him as this raw animalistic energy. And the same goes for guys as well, because we do have that within us to see the woman as this sexual object. And then now, because of society, right, we're not allowed to express some of these inner thoughts, these inner demons that we have in our brain. But it's still there. It's not gonna go anywhere. So that's why I say objectify. So now when you have your when you have your girl or your partner, stuff like that, right? She still like the way that you looked at her when you first met her, right? With that hungry eyes. Or you just like when she's walking around with them little pum pum short and shit like that, right? And you still have the ability to just smack her ass. All this crazy shit. Your woman still likes that. But once you stop doing it, then automatically she's now thinking like, okay, who now you doing this to? If you're not objectifying her, then you must be objectifying someone else. If you no longer see her as a sexual being, then who else you looking at with those hungry eyes? Who else are you been flirting with? Who else are you like try to get that number when you go elsewhere and all this other shit? So that's why I think it's necessary for you to continue to objectify your woman. And trust me, when that part of the relationship is still remain, she's more than likely to continue to try to please you.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think. Oh, go ahead, Christina.
No, if you have a thought, go ahead and say. I was going to say if you. I was going to tell AJ, go ahead. But if you have something else to say, go ahead.
So, what is your perspective, AJ?
All right, look, what's the premise of everything? Because you gotta catch me up. I know what you gotta first. If we're gonna talk about objectified, define objectified. What does objectified mean to you? Because I got a couple things that I kind of disagree with you on about. You said that if women looked into men's minds, they would be shocked. I think it goes both ways.
Oh yeah,
Men
of course.
and women can just be just as, if anything, society in the way it is, we do kind of contradict, like women are not supposed to be as sexually nasty as men, and I disagree with that. I think that's the problem for a lot of men out there. They get intimidated when a woman can think the same way as a man.
Oh,
But it goes both ways. It goes both ways. I think that is the issue in both genders. They try to misinterpret what we think. Just like I always tell Christina, a woman cannot tell me how to be a man. I can't tell a woman how to be a man. That's they have their roles, I have my roles. So that's the issue. Now, I know what y'all were talking about earlier. I want to go back to it when it came to relationships and marriage. I honestly think they're both the same. You both have to have that foundation of respect, love, honor, communication, commitment. Getting married is the next level, of course, but when you get married, that's all. God should be the foundation of both. However, but when you are married, you are supposed to be with your honor your woman, and it got to go both ways though. It can't just be pleasing the wife. The wife got to please the husband too. Like both, it got to be a mutual thing. Both got to bring something to the table.
It's got to be a balance. It's got to be a balance. Yeah.
So the problem nowadays is everybody's in what I call validationships. People are being with people just to say they have somebody.
Yeah,
that's the problem. They don't even care about. They don't even know who they are, and I'm comfortable to be fine with or without you. I will tell any woman that straight up. I'm gonna be happy with or without you. And if you can't bring anything else to the table, then you got to keep it moving, or we're gonna have another type of arrangement. I think that's the thing that's different between. What's up?
When you know what you're bringing to the table, you're not gonna beg. And a lot of times, when an independent woman matches a man's interest, the man does get scared because they're not.
It just depends. It depends. Not really. Not the real men out there is okay. It's what the independent woman is trying to do sometimes. Because you can be independent all you want to, but then when we go on the date, I'm the one who's gonna foot the bill. You expecting me to pay for things. You expecting me to provide and do all those things.
That's not true.
So if we were going to date right now, Whitney, and the bill
we will go Dutch if you want to. We can go Dutch.
We can go Dutch. Oh, so you will go Dutch.
Yes, we can go Dutch.
Honestly, go Dutch. The bill is $130. You gonna split that, or $200? How about that? $200, $250.
First of all, the bill is not going to be $200. I'll make sure of that.
Okay.
But no, I, as a woman who has been independent for a while now, Christina knows. Christina's been independent too. I have no problem going Dutch. I have no problem. See, I think the problem is people are entering in relationships and they're not being themselves. They're so worried about impressing the other person.
Yeah, validationships. That's what I call it. Validationships. You trying to.
But here's the thing, though. How can you be yourself when you don't know who you are?
That's why I said
that's another problem. You should know who you are before entering. Sometimes you are finding yourself in certain areas of your life, but overall, you should have a good direction of where you're going as an individual before entering into a relationship. You should love yourself enough so when you're ready to love somebody else, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, love and respect.
See, here's the thing, right? A lot of time we have an idea of who we believe that we are. Mm-hmm. So therefore, like for example, right, you come through and say that, okay, I'm Miss Independent and all this stuff, right? That itself is a sort of defense mechanism, because it's like that's your shield as to protect you from being vulnerable, and because you don't want some other guy come through and then giving you feeding you grapes, doing all this shit, and then you haven't learned to trust him yet, because that can be used against you and stuff like that. So it's better for you to try to remain as being Miss Independent for as long as possible before you actually allow your guards down, right? But
Facts.
Now, the problem tends to arise, right? Because like our ego tends to get in the way of our happiness.
Yeah.
So therefore, when we continue to actually display the same type of habits that we had, right, when we were single, and then not confronting some of the issues that we might have when we're dealing with another person, because that's a different individual that has a mind of his own, that has his own hold habits, the things that you might not like about him and the things that he might not like about you. So then there's going to be a lot of infighting. There's going to be a lot of hardship in the relationship. And if you're not willing to actually go through it, to go past it, to break down some of those egos, then that's when things fall apart. I'm gonna give you a perfect analogy, right? It's like relationship. It's kind of like, let's say you're taking a long journey somewhere, right? And if you're gonna take that journey, if you're gonna take that road trip, wouldn't you want to take it with someone that, with a good friend of yours, someone that you at least can get along with? Of course.
Yeah, but you're not. I'm not waiting for that person. I'm gonna go on my journey, and if I find him along the way, that's just what it is gonna be.
Well, yeah,
I'm not gonna...
I like that. I like that analogy, but the main thing is, before you get in that car, you got to have a destination. You got to know where you're going first. But a lot of people don't know that. They don't do that. There's a woman that I know now that I was like, all right, you with this dude for all these years, no marriage has come up. She's been the bridesmaid for like 4 years straight. And I'm sitting here like, okay, but you doing all this. And she literally told me she's in it for the ride. So I'm like, okay, you're in the ride, but you don't even know where you're going. So you're basically wasting your time. And that's what happens.
But I think a lot of time too, though, is like people don't understand how to date anymore. Like you said earlier, it's like, some people just don't want to be alone. Yeah. And when you don't understand someone's potential, and then it's either, I see a lot of female that, their attraction to the opposite sex, actually both parties, right? Their attraction to the opposite sex is very shallow.
I'm gonna say this. I would say more on the female's perspective. For what I've seen in my research, and for what I've seen, a lot of women are attracted to perception. Like they attracted to the idea of what they think what they want.
Oh, the potential. The potential.
Perception, because the same person that you might dog out has that same potential, if not more, but he doesn't have the look that you're looking for. Perception is not about. It's more of about a false reality of what that person appears to be. There are a lot of men out there who can appear to have money, clouts, and all that stuff, and then reality, they living in their grandmother's basement or their auntie's attic somewhere, and they got like a part-time job, and they ain't about shit. But once again, because he has that appearing beard, 6'4", he looks like everybody wants him. So I would say for men,
AJ, that sounds real personal. Did you go through something?
Oh no, not at all. This is from what I see. From what I've seen, I have five sisters and 9 aunties. So, and I've seen a lot of them, and unfortunately, a lot of them didn't get it right. And for the ones that got it right, I see what they looked at.
All right, let me ask you. Let me ask you guys. So why are you guys single?
I'm single. Okay, ladies first. Okay. So, I've been focusing on my career for a few years.
Okay, what do you do for a career?
I can't say what I do, but I work for the government.
Gotcha.
But I just haven't met somebody who makes me want to step away from my career, even for a few minutes, to be like, okay, I'm going to create a new bubble in my life called a relationship aside from my career. I just haven't met that person that I get that feeling for, like, okay, I can make time for him.
Okay.
Especially how the dating scene is. Huh?
So then what type of person what is your perception or your ideal person that you would actually make that time for, in a way?
First of all, consistency and level-headedness these days is very hard to find. So patience, just someone who's just as invested in his personal endeavors as I am, but then when we come together, we put it aside and we spend time together. That's been a challenge.
The qualities that you mentioned, do you also have it within you as well?
Yes. I will make time for the right person. I will go the extra mile. And I'm not picky. You don't even have to have a nice car, like the materialistic things. It's more so about the connection and the effort, the level of effort that both parties are putting into the relationship.
All right. What about you, AJ?
Well, for me, like I said, I'm focused same way. I just graduated from school. I'm about to receive a degree in history. I am open.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm open to a relationship. But at the same time, I don't settle and I don't force a move. I think that's the problem with a lot of people, men and women. I don't force anything anymore. Anytime I force something, it backfired terribly. So I'm out here doing what I need to do to also have more self-knowledge of myself.
Okay.
And gain self-respect. So, and love myself. So everybody has to do that every day. Everybody thinks that you got to love and respect yourself every day. You learn something new every day. So yeah, I'm
all right.
open
So
to the relationship.
So then, all right, okay. So now let's say right? AJ come up to you and be like, all right, you know what? After this conversation,
Don't be trying to hook us up.
No. I'm giving perspective. Okay, you say you easy going, right?
Matchmaker.
Why not? You're single. He's single. I mean, shoot, Xtina's single. So then, therefore, you have a man right here with potential. He knows what he wants, and then he's easygoing, level-headed, and stuff like that. So then, what's the problem?
What was the questions we were supposed to be focusing on this?
Y'all about to do it right now.
Yep, that right there. All right,
I love each other for a long time.
We can say that.
Well, no, I mean, okay.
But all right, you're right. You nailed it. A lot of women say that, but then when the person is right there, then it's now we ain't over here. Hold on. You see the hypocrisy behind that? All right, a lot of women do that. You be sitting there.
AJ, you're like family. AJ, we went to quinceañeras of Christina. Like we're like family. That would be weird.
Good. All right,
I ain't go to no quinceañera. I met you in 2000. I met you in Obama's second term.
All right, but check this out, right? All right, hold on. Check this out, right? Oh, now here's a question. What is wrong with actually dating your friend? Wouldn't be that person that you actually want to date? Because if you want to date, if you're looking at life from a long-term perspective, then wouldn't you actually already know half of his bad habits already, right? Instead of actually going to a brand new person.
Stubborn, can't let an argument go.
No, but this is exactly why I put you on the spot. Because you said
I'm saying that's AJ right there, AJ.
Is it stubborn or is it more of a I don't conform so easily? See, there's a difference.
Argumentative.
Is it not that I don't conform to what you say or bend the knee so easily? Because I'm always open to solutions, but what's not going to happen, I don't bow down just because of somebody say I challenge. We building. I'm challenging you to build you. That's what a relationship is about, is building. We both need to build. So I like a strong-minded individual. Well, I like that.
Here's the thing, right? Also, I think if two people have two different destinations, then it's going to be very difficult for them to actually work together, to share that journey together. So therefore, if you have a perspective on what you want to accomplish in life, right? And Absolutely. Then your doesn't. All right, this is the thing, right? Okay, look, in Europe, right? When me and my girl we moved to Europe with our daughter, and I used to do commission art, right? So then, therefore, at a certain point, then my girl was the one helping me with finding clients online and all this stuff. So she, in a sense, was helping me manage what I'm trying to accomplish. And even now on my YouTube channel, right? And then I just sometimes just get on there, do my stream and all this shit. And I don't really want to think about a lot of these background stuff. So then she's the one that's like, helping me set up, with interviews and keeping up with my schedule and all this shit. So therefore, like, it's her ability to see the vision that I have in my head and actually now try to help me accomplish that vision. And to me, that is gold to find in any partnership. But if anybody try to have their own things, like, you know what, you do your thing. I don't care about what you're doing. I don't care about whatever you got going on, but I'm doing my thing. Don't interfere in my shit. I won't interfere in your shit. Then you're not working together. You just, you're just together, but you're not building
just
together.
Cohabiting. You're just roommates.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, I agree.
Yeah, but let's get back to the whole cheating thing and stuff like that, because we're way out of topic now. So what are your perspective when it comes to men cheating?
Man, men are gonna cheat regardless. It's the character of the man. It doesn't matter if he's in a relationship or in a marriage. That's the thing. If that man has strong values already, like if you love that woman, it's not just for the sexual part. You have to have that spiritual connection too. See, that's what I'm saying. Y'all both have to have that mutual love for each other where other people don't matter. Of course, everybody has temptation. That's where I say you got to be honest. Like, if I got with, let's say, if Whitney and I got together, that doesn't mean every other woman in the world is not attractive anymore. They are going to be attractive, but they're not what I want. You see what I'm saying? It's all about when I'm in fully. You have to be in fully, and you have to know why you want to be there, because a lot of men fall for that too. Because like I said, there are men out there who want to. I ask them, are you dating her or the image? If you are there just for a physical aspect of it, then it's not going to go very well. It's not going to last long. So you got to know what you want right then and there. So it's always the character. It doesn't matter the title.
Okay, but now from your perspective, you say every man cheat, and then they're gonna cheat regardless and stuff like that, right? But why do men cheat? Why is
for different reasons? It once again, it depends on the man. Some men do it for clout. Like they want to hit so they can tell their boys what they've done. Some men do it for emotional reasons because maybe they had experiences back in the day where they had a bad relationship with their mother. They have abandonment issues. Some men just do it just because they want to, or they're not getting enough from their woman at home. Because sometimes that can happen. But at the end of the day, when you cheat, you're doing it for selfish reasons. At the end of the day, it's mostly selfish. I don't care what nobody says, man or woman. When you're cheating, it's selfish. It's a selfish, desired act that you basically indulging on. And
all right. What about you, Whit?
That's what it is.
What about you? What's your perspective on that matter? And so, also, I wanna find out, why do women cheat? You and Xtina. I'm gonna ask you that after that.
Okay. So once a cheater, always a cheater. If you cheat, and I mean, it's different when you're like a teenager and you're just being reckless, but if you're an adult, I want to say within the past 10 years that there has to be like a time frame. If you're cheating and if you've cheated recently, you're going to cheat again. And it doesn't matter what the reason is. Cheating is cheating.
But if you don't care about what the reason is, then how can you actually understand?
No, it doesn't matter what the reason is. Cheating is cheating.
Okay, well, Whitney, if that's the case, does that go the same across the board for men and women? So if a woman cheats, she's always a cheater as well?
Good question.
Yeah.
Yes. Why? Why is that? Are you sure? Because do we hold the same standards? When men cheat, typically we are the scum of the earth, or we're dogs, or it's in our nature, which I find is complete bullshit. But when a woman does it, she was driven away, or something happened. There was emotional disconnect to the man. So why is that?
Yeah, you gotta hold you gotta hold both men and women to the same standard, guys.
No, cheating is cheating, and it comes from tendencies. It comes from, like AJ said, there might be an emotional disconnect. There's something that you feel is missing, but it can be avoided just with communication. So I think that in relationships, sometimes couples reach a point where they don't even want to talk to each other, and they start to tell themselves it's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna go out and do this, and they start to act single again. So Yes, you're right. It goes both ways for both men and women.
Okay.
But if you want to be single, be single. If you want to be in a relationship, find somebody who wants to be in a relationship. You guys have to be on the same page.
All right. What about you, Xena?
Somebody said, I hate when they try to blame the women when they cheated on the last girl.
I'm not gonna lie, Christina. I cannot hear you.
Boyfriend, girlfriend, or marriage.
Can y'all hear her?
Y'all can't hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. Now I was just reading some of the comments. You mean like what I think as far as women cheating versus men cheating?
I hate when they try to blame women when they cheated on the last girl. Yeah, all right. Here's the thing, right? Like here's my perspective. The reasons do matter, because if we do not understand our action, then we're gonna continue to do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So then, for example, you probably had a man that cheated on you, right? And then now you're always gonna have that perception that, hey, every man's a cheater, and any sign of him, might be a cheater and stuff like that, then you just cut him off. And that perception, you're gonna remain single for, I don't know, God knows how long, right? So because to them, because to you,
I've been in relationships, but I've not been cheated on. I'm not saying I'm perfect in relationships, but I'm just genuinely saying I've not been cheated on.
Okay, but breaking that relationship wasn't because of cheating; it was because of all the differences, right?
Right.
All right then. But if you haven't really taken the time to understand the differences, why things fall apart, then what's gonna stop it from not occurring on your next relationship?
But so you're bringing up two different things.
Because if you're in a new relationship, man, you swipe the slate clean. That past, your past with that other person should be there in the past. You can't carry luggage in there. You can always learn,
right?
That's
but
not
you don't
true.
carry luggage into the next relationship.
That is not true.
That is very true. No, you learn lessons from your last relationship. Of course, you pick up things. Okay, all right. If this person shows this sign of behavior, but everybody should have a slate clean, because that's not fair.
All right, but
a lot of people are punishing other people for things that somebody else in the past did. That's not fair. That's not right.
Well, just because it's not fair, it's not right, doesn't mean that it's not happening.
Oh no, it happens, but that person shouldn't be in a relationship. I tell people, give yourself a 6-month break after a relationship. If you want to have your fun, be safe.
No, there's actually so let's say the relationship was a year. You should give yourself 2 years to get over, to move on.
2 years?
Yeah. There's a formula. If you're in a relationship for a year, give yourself 2 years to heal from that relationship before you move into another.
How is that formula working for you though?
It's working great.
Okay, but my point is this, right? We carry those baggages with us in our next relationship because we don't have the closure. We don't have the closure of our last relationship. Okay, so then therefore, if we don't, listen, right? So then if we don't actually take the time to analyze why men do certain things, why women do certain things, so then even though our next relationship, it doesn't matter the lesson that we think we learn, then we're constantly gonna start, it's like anytime you are frustrated, now you are picturing your ex. You are picturing the last person that hurt you.
Sometimes your closure is the lesson learned. You don't need
exactly. Whitney is right on that, because once again, define closure for you, because there are a lot of people out there, you'll never know why. There's a lot of people out there that won't give you that satisfaction to tell you I'm closing. I hate when people do that. I'm a very direct person.
Yeah,
if you ain't feeling it, then say so. But I can't expect other people to do that. I'm learning. My method might not be the way that other people are. I've had to learn that. I am very direct and stern and firm, but I realize certain people can't take that kind of criticism, or I can't be so brash sometimes. Sometimes I might have to step back.
And you can. You need to stop acting. You need to stop jumping into relationships if you haven't realized what's not working for you. Stop being a virus, connecting yourself to a host and another host and another host. Take time.
Parasite. You talk about parasite. Yeah, parasite. I get you.
What?
But it's interesting though, right? Okay.
Take time for yourself. Take time for yourself to learn about yourself. of what you do and do not like in a woman, in a man, in a relationship, and stop infecting people. That's what I have to say.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because it's like everybody wants to heal, but nobody wants to help the other person heal.
What do you mean help the other person heal?
What I mean by this, right? Okay, you might not get the closure from the person that hurt you, right?
Yeah.
But however, if you get in a relationship, you get with a partner, stuff like that, right? And then all these fights gonna happen because of past trauma. And if nobody care enough to actually, start helping each other heal from their past trauma, then you're constantly gonna break up and start all over again.
Well, wait a minute. Okay. All right. If that's the case, then let me ask you this. I'm gonna give you a scenario. What if your wife cheated on you with a common thug nigga out there, and she disrespects you? She just talk about how much of a man you weren't, how much you ain't shit to her, and then she dips. She just dips. She leaves with, hey, I'm done. I'm done with you. Goodbye. I'll send you the divorce papers. You don't mean shit to me. We're through. Bye. How you gonna handle that situation? How you gonna get that closure from that person who's obviously saying you don't mean shit to me?
Well,
there's nothing else to say. How do you handle that?
Once that's over, I'm gonna be angry for a while. I'll probably be one of those make time motherfuckers. Like, this bitch cheated on me. What is wrong with her? This bitch is not this, right? And I'm gonna do that for probably about 5 years and shit.
And go to therapy. Go to therapy.
5 years.
Yeah.
5 years.
Listen,
Man, shit better be 5 minutes. You better dip. It's time to go. 5 years.
No, listen. I'm talking about. I'm talking about the anger stage for about 5 years.
That's too damn long, dog. So you still that's
nigga, dude. I don't know. Listen, I've never had my heart broken to that effect. I never had a chick cheated on me. I don't have that problem, that scenario. But I can only imagine how that might happen, right? The reason I say 5 years is because I've been with my girl for like 16 years, right? We've been married for over 10 years. So I'm not just gonna get over her just like a couple months or a couple minutes.
So you would need 20 years if you guys.
Right. That's too damn long.
No. But what I'm saying, okay, I understand why she said 20 years, right? But the thing's gonna happen is because, so let's say if the breakup happened, right? She screwed me over and all this shit. I'm all pissed off, and then now you're gonna have some other chicks gonna looking at me like, you know what, Ari's a good guy. I wonder if I can actually get him now. But then again, this new girl, whatever. No, but listen, right? So then this new chick, she's gonna go through hell because of what my wife had gone through, had put me through, right? Well, and then okay. So now, but listen. So now it's gonna be up to the new chick to find out, okay, is it worth it for me to actually help him mend a broken heart, or I don't have time for this shit and bounce. And I believe that's why a relationship keeps breaking up because every time we have a past hurt, then we don't have the patience to actually help each other heal. No, that's my point.
There's a difference between patience and stupidity. You have to have self-respect. See, once again, when I enter a relationship, I'm going to love the woman, treat her right, be honorable, but I will be fine with or without. You see what I'm saying? That's the self-love and self-respect that I carry for myself. So if she decides to do that and she takes off, that's her loss. Because
what's your longest relationship?
What's up?
What was your longest relationship?
My longest relationship was 3 years.
All right. And what about you, Whit?
3 years.
What about you, Xtina?
8.
All right. So then you speaking from an experience of a 3-year relationship.
Yeah.
So therefore our ego will always take the front line, because our ego is defined by, you know what, I will never accept that from a chick. I will never accept that from blah blah, all this shit, right? Is the ego speaking? But
not necessarily. Mm-hmm. If you have confidence and self-respect, there's a difference. If it will sting, but not to the point where it consumes you. You will be upset, of course, but if you know that you did in your heart that you did everything you could, then you can move on. That's the thing. That's why I said, are you in a relationship or a validation ship? There's a difference. Listen,
there's a difference between pride and ego as well.
Absolutely.
Pride is what helps you to maintain pride is what helps you maintaining your moral stance. So then
But there's
therefore,
also there's dignity too. You gotta have
there's what?
dignity too. Dignity.
Oh yeah,
Here's
pride
my
and
thing.
dignity and integrity. But that's
right.
my point though. It's like no matter what relationship you are, whether you are single or you're in a relationship, your moral code should be kept, should be, that's the forefront of your being. And therefore that's when that also helps you when you are communicating with other people to make sure that they don't take you for granted. They don't try to take advantage of you. They don't try to use you as a doorknob. So am I worried about my girl would actually just leave me for some thug nigga, blah, 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 all this shit? No, I'm not. Because I know that deep down, there's always going to be just there. She'll never be able to find another person like me. So then therefore, I also understand her value. So then I will not treat her like shit. I will treat her with the most respect. And also like, I will not try to fuck her over because I know that there's only one serious. Just like she know there's only one Art Benaca. And that's the thing though, is like, when you have two parties, one of them, like, well, you know what? I don't care about this motherfucker. So then therefore that lack of respect is gonna make that person do the type of shit that he thinks that's always right in his mind in the first place.
Well,
And that's
I
why
would say this.
Yeah.
There's two types of men though. There's the men, like you said, to me, in a way that they usually are the ones who get the short end of the stick. She can't find no one better than me. Then you got the ones, I don't give a damn if she leaves, she leaves. And those typically are the ones that the women are attracted to. Every woman, a lot of women, most women want a man like a forbidden fruit or someone unobtainable, because that's why the so-called good guys are left in the friend zone, because he ain't going nowhere. A lot of women like men that other women want. That's just how it is. It's because women are in competition. It's a competition.
No, girls are
You know
and then there's the women who simply like a man who provides clarity, who contributes to her peace. I mean, there's
but those type of men you're not attracted to.
What?
Those are the type of men that you don't perceive. Those type of men, I bet you they have come by you, but they don't have that certain look. You got to be attracted to somebody. It's okay. Like there's the nice big chicks or big unattractive women that I know they got a good heart, but that ain't for me. So you have to have a balance. You got to be attracted to them mentally and
you're not reading you're not reading the clues, man. He's pointing out himself. You're not attracted to guys like him.
That's not what he's saying. Or maybe I missed that too. Maybe
no.
It's
like this.
We've
heard.
Fortnite.
I've heard. No, like my sister's done the same thing. I love my sister to death, but there's certain men that she says she wants. I'm like, but you're going for the exact opposite. You say you want that, but then I see the dudes that she goes with, and I'm like, but they don't fit the description. And it's like, I love her, but she wasn't bringing anything to the table either. So it's like, what are you bringing other than your body? And you wonder why you get treated the way you get treated. That's another thing women don't understand. Whatever you bring to the table and from the beginning, that's how the man is going to treat you. So if you just bring your body, don't get mad when all I want is for your body.
I'm bringing my conversation. I'm bringing my conversation to the table, and we can go from there.
You got to bring more than that. Just a conversation. I need more than that.
Your expectations are already too high. That's why it wouldn't work.
So having your character, your personality, and your true self is too much. That's too much. That's too much to ask. It's just your character, your personality, your heart. That's too much.
Say that again. You went out.
So having character, bringing yourself, just being you, just being your own person. That's too much. Conversation is one thing. Talk is cheap. I'm asking.
Are we talking about a Thanksgiving feast? What are we talking about here?
I'm saying, like, are you yourself when you are on a date, or are you?
That's what I said. Remember when we were talking about in dating, people really aren't themselves. A lot of people aren't. I am very much myself, but I mean, the first date, I'm not gonna be talking all nasty on the first date. So,
hey, it's all about the vibe. I say that's the problem right there. Why shouldn't you? What if you and that guy connect to the point where you can talk about it, but you still have your boundaries?
Right. No, I agree. So it's like a tennis match. That's what I think.
I feel like it's more like an interview. It's like, hey, what can I say that's comfortable enough for you to accept? So, like I said, it's all about the connection and the vibe. That's why, like, how some people get mad when it comes to like people ask me about sex on the first date. I go, it's all about the vibe between the two people. Because there are people out there who've had sex on the first date and they're married, and then there's some people who waited 90 days for that shit, and then it was trash, and then they was like they wish they never waited. So it's just about the vibe. It's about
it's about the vibe. It's about the vibe. And
yeah.
Normally on the first date, I would say, because I'm a very confident person. So on the first date, I'll let the man. Yeah.
Oh no, guys! You guys keep talking. We're just observers right now. We're just watching the interaction going and stuff like that. We're just chilling.
Continue.
Listen.
What'd you say?
Look, I see where you guys are coming from, right? But the thing about it though is like, if you do not understand where both parties are coming from, then we're always gonna hold our ego to the most higher standards like that, because that's our shield. That's the thing that keeps us from being vulnerable. That's the thing that keeps us from not being hurt, right? And then you cannot be in a relationship for over that many years and without actually exposing yourself to a certain level of vulnerability to your partner.
No,
the person that can hurt,
I agree.
the person that can hurt me the most is my wife, and I'm the one that can also hurt her the most. We've gone through hell.
A good question would be like, what are some of your challenges? And like, no, because you're right. I don't want you to show me perfection. I don't want it to be like a job interview. Like I say, let's bring out what your flaws and what your challenges are, so that you can figure out if that may or may not be the right situation for you.
I think you're talking about AJ, because my flaws and challenges, like that's between me and my girl. So you ain't gonna learn about that.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like when you're on when you're getting to know somebody, it's important to talk about that.
Listen, because it's like, here's the thing, right? A lot of people talk, but they don't listen. And I think sometimes our inability to listen to what the other person have to say, people tend to reveal a lot about themselves when you let them speak. So like for example, earlier, right? You talk about what you're looking for in a man, and then blah, 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 all this shit. And I put you on the spot. And then all of a sudden, all the thing that you were saying goes out the window when you start talking to AJ. So it kind of makes me realize, okay, it's good to say what you're saying, but do you really mean it?
Right. It's like some men out there who say, I want a good girl and blah, blah, blah. But niggas that I know friends, I'm like, no, you don't. You don't want that shit.
Exactly.
Because that chick right there is good for you, but because she ain't what you want. Like, there's certain men who want trophies, a trophy chick, and then you want a good woman. There's a difference.
Well, which is why I bring about like, okay, when you did not agree with me when I used the term just objectification, right? And the thing about it was like, we want to believe that we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but however, it's the cover that actually got us to read the back of the book in the first place.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, you have to be attractive with me. Like there's no one way or other. I have to be physically attracted to you. I can't be with no one unattractive. That's not gonna work. I have to be able to look at.
So therefore there's many aspects, right? You have the physical attraction, you have the mental attraction, and the person's ability to carry a conversation that is mind stimulating. You have all these aspects that goes through when it comes to the whole dating arena. But what tends to occur now, because we are in this whole pump and dump culture, so then a guy try to fuck a chick before she gets to know him, and a chick try to get to know a guy before she give him some pussy, right?
I mean, I disagree. It depends on the man or the woman, because it all goes about before they even start. You got to know what you want, but before you even do it, like that's why you have to ask, what are you looking for? Now, if the guy just says I want some ass, then if the woman is not about that, then she needs to say something, or vice versa. If a chick is like, hey, you're gonna have to pay before you to play. Then you got to know where you stand. But a lot of people go in it half cocked, as I say, and that's where the miscommunication comes in.
Yeah, but all right.
Because
But let's say, okay, so now let's that. So then this is like let's say the beginning of the relationship, right? So we all try to put our best foot forward, right? She got to believe that you're the type of guy that she could look up to, right? That's why you just pump up your value and all that stuff, right? You know, I'm this person, I'm that person, shit like that, right? And then she's gonna do the same thing as well, right? You know, whether it's try to show her, her whatchamacallit, her image, you know, sexy, you know, a little push-up bras here and there, whatever the case may be, makeup, all that bullshit, right? And then now here comes the conversation, and then the sex come through, and then let's say you guys going out. Now, over time, as you guys going out now, the flaws of the individual started to appear through. You know, you might think like, damn, I don't like the way he chew his food like this. And then you might think about like, damn, I don't like the way her feet stink. You know? So you're gonna start these flaws gonna start appearing. And then now it's like the question is, how are you gonna be able to see past the physical attraction and to actually get to the nitty gritty of the person, the part that the person try to hide from you at the beginning, and it will happen. And a lot of guys cannot go through that, and that's why some of them cheat, some of them, you know, they do stupid shit and all that stuff to self-sabotage situation. And then they go through.
For the cheat, I disagree, because if, like I said, if Whitney and I got together, I'd know before even, like, I'd make up in my mind, okay, do I want to be with her for her? Like, do I want to grow with this person? Do I really intend to spend the rest of my life with this individual, or do I just want to smash and dash? That'll be something that I have to make a decision about before that's what real men do. You already know the decision. A man knows what he wants out of a woman within the first few minutes he meet her, and the way she presents herself, vice versa.
Oh, I didn't know it was all up to the man to figure this all out. I guess I'll just sit here and wait for you to figure it all out. Yeah.
There you go. It's for the woman. I gotta know what she wants. If she even knows what she wants. So it goes both ways. Like I said, if the guy, you have to know where you both stand. Like sometimes I told people sometimes it's okay to smash and dash. Why waste each other's time and try to build something that ain't there? As long as it's safe and consensual, call it a day. Like I said, people, too many validation ships out here. You want to be with this person, not because you truly want to, but you scared that you're alone, or you the pressure of your other friends. So that's just how I see it.
So how old are you guys, if you don't mind me asking? Like around
I'm 31.
Right. All right, cool.
31.
31. Mm-hmm.
Okay, damn, I feel old. 35. But yeah, I mean,
man, we was born under the same president. Stop it.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen. Oh yeah, Xtina, you've been quiet for a long time. What's going on?
Oh no, I'm just enjoying listening to all you guys talk. Like, this is kind of like my nature though. When I'm around a lot of people discussing stuff, I tend to just sit back and watch. So I don't know, because it's just my personality coming through. But yeah, I mean, just enjoying just watching, listening. Yeah.
All right. So what happened in your last relationships, guys?
My last relationship?
Yeah.
In my last relationship, we were dating, and then she decided to try to go talk to another dude behind my back. And it was a dude she was involved with in the past. And I found out. And I asked her, I said, if you feeling this dude, you can go. Because then I could see that she was trying to keep things from me. And I was like, all right, well, if you want to go, you can go.
Okay.
And she didn't believe that I was going to behave the way I did. And then I was like, no, you can go. And she left.
What about you, Whit?
I can't remember my last relationship. When was my last relationship, Christina?
Well, I mean, there's been like a few guys.
Like I said, sorry.
You would really count.
Yeah, there's been a like when you're getting to know people, it just hasn't gone anywhere. So my last real relationship was to the father of my child, and that was 4-5 years ago. But yeah, I think that's the last the last relationship. But no, I've dated since then. It's just I have this new rule. They got to get past that 72-hour window. Like these days. Like, no, like seriously, the first 72 hours of getting to know somebody, I think is just crucial. So,
I mean, I like to build. Like for me, I like to build. I need to I like communication. I'm a direct individual. So for me, I just need you and I to be on the same page. For me, like I said, I'm gonna be fine with or without you. So I don't depend on anything. Like I don't depend on anyone.
You are so defensive right now.
Oh no. What I'm saying is that's the problem with a lot of people.
You good, but I'm good without you.
Yeah.
So
no,
hi, my name is AJ. My name is AJ. I'm good without you, but I would like to get to know you.
And that's fine. But no, that's fine with me. But I'm not saying that directly through my words. I'm saying it through my actions and my words. I'm not putting it in that way straightforward like that. But my actions and words are going to be in sync. So if I do care about you, you will know that. But at the same time, you're going to respect me as well, just like I'm going to respect you. I'm not going to be anybody to walk over. You're not going to use certain things to make me feel bad. And I feel like a lot of women out there will do that. Like you can say something nasty to me, and then if I correct you with facts, then you get offended. Then we can't work that way. Because I'm not going to do it.
Here's the question I have for you. Here's the question I have for both of you, right? So on one hand, you have AJ, I'm good without you, and then on the other hand, you have with Miss Independence, right? So do you think, both emphasis on these character trait, is it like a defense mechanism?
No, not at all. Because because what you did, you're twisting the words. I said with or without. You're focusing on the without part. Now, see, that's the problem with a lot of people out there. They don't listen to everything. People, like you just said, people listen to what they want to hear. Now, I didn't say I'm gonna be good without you all the time. I said I will be good with or without, which is basically me saying I'm gonna be fine either way.
Okay, so with or without you, and then with Miss Independence, right? So, like I said, is it a defense mechanism?
It can be. It can be, but at the same time, sometimes people look at it like that, but I look at it in the way of self-growing. Because like I said, over the years after that, I've been doing well for myself. I'm healthy. God, thank the Lord. I'm in good shape. I make my own money. I have my own place. I'm doing all these things. So, and I have my own podcast. So I'm doing what I need to do that makes me happy as well. You gotta love and be happy for yourself before you jump into someone else's life. That's the problem. Be your boss in your own world first, and then don't go to somebody else's world as the peasant, because then that's all they're gonna do is look down on you. You have to go in there with self-respect.
What about you with Miss Independent? Is that a defense mechanism?
Wait, Christina, what did you say?
No, I'm reading the comments. Are you guys looking at the comments?
I can't look at them for some reason. But all I have to say is I'm ready to find a man who makes me want to be less independent. I want to find that man where I feel like I want to help him. Like I want to have that feeling like, how can I help you? Like grow even more. So I'm ready for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say help or fix.
Help, not fix. Help. Okay. How can I help you get to where you're going? That's what I'm ready for. So yes, I say I'm independent, which I am, but I'm at a point where I'm ready to kind of let that wall down. So, because you need to let that wall down in order to let somebody in to establish an emotional connection. So I'm ready.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It seems like both of you guys are ready. So what's the problem?
No problem at all.
All right. So then AJ, AJ's gonna contact you after this show. And then you guys gonna have a conversation and stuff like that, work out your differences and everything. And then you guys can be friends, or you guys are already friends.
we are here to support Christina and all of her growth with her YouTube channel.
You see how she's deflecting with? You see how she's deflecting, AJ?
Her makeup line.
Hey man, with or without, I'm good, baby.
Yo,
At the end of the day, Whit is going to be fine without me too. So she's an independent, strong, attractive young lady. So she's good too.
All right, cool.
And sometimes people are better off as friends.
Okay. All right. So what are some of the questions that you have for us, Xtina? Because I can't be doing moderating your own thing, right?
I've been mad quiet.
Yeah, you just like sitting there quiet and all this shit.
Like I said, anytime I'm like in a group setting and my friends get to like talk, having like live discussions like this, I tend to like step back. I don't know why. That's just what I do, and I just listen.
Okay,
what are some of the comments? What are some of the comments? Because I can't read them.
Too. There's one guy in here really hating on you. Yeah.
Hating on who?
On you.
Me?
Uh-huh.
Why is he hating on me?
Apparently he's one of these SYSBM characters.
I said, but how are you gonna hate on me?
Earlier somebody here said MGTOW too.
All right, speaking of which, what is you guys with all right, so what are your perspective on some of these groups online?
Like the ones
you mean like dating apps?
Well, I mean not those dating apps. I'm talking about like, let's say MGTOW, SYSBN, and all these different groups and stuff like that. That just, especially when it comes to, let's say, feminism, MGTOWs, and SYSBN. What are your perspective on these ideologies, or do you know about those ideologies?
Yes. Well, when it comes to feminism, I don't believe in it. I think it's just another way of. Well, I'll be blunt with that. I just think it's a lot of trauma, victimized, bitter women in there that want to downgrade men instead of. So that's just my perspective, not for the most part, because to me, it's like I understand women should have certain rights, but let's be real. In society, you're not gonna. Men and women are never gonna be equal in everything. That's just not how it works.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just about self knowledge. That's my philosophy. Self knowledge.
What about you? You two.
Christina.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. What?
So those groups, I'm not allowed to comment on any of that. But I think people.
Hold on, guys. I gotta get out of this for a sec. Something's wrong with it. I'll hop back in a sec.
All right, cool.
Okay. People do those groups because they join them and they want to be of a cause, and that's all I can say. I'm actually just with my line of work. I can't comment on the groups. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. It's always like I was saying earlier, like the MGTOW and some of these like men groups I just started learning about like recently or within the past couple months. And I don't know. I know one of the guys in here apparently is SYSBM, whatever. But so no offense to you, come here. But whenever I hear about these type of groups, I'm like, I don't know. They just seem to me like a bunch of men that can't get no women. I don't know. It just seems weird to me that men are, and I still fully understand, but it's like they're dedicating themselves to being single, to living the bachelor life forever. Like, I don't know. It's just odd to me. And I guess I don't know, they've created these groups to find other men that are in their same weird predicaments so they can all together.
Yeah, they want to feel like they belong or they can relate to other people with similar.
Because the SYSBM, that's like advocating for Black men to date out, right? Like for them to date non-Black women.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so like why?
Like I do understand a lot of their perspective, right? But however, it's sometimes people just use the same talking point, but yet their actions say something totally different. So therefore, like in one hand, they might have certain grievances towards, let's say, their own community, right, or personal life, whether it's their environment and stuff like that, right? So then they might be like, well, you know what? I don't want to date black women, so I'm gonna date other races of women. However, there's the animosity still remain, because it feels like, or if you're happy with the group of women that you're dating, but yet you constantly now have to turn back and continue to bash the women that you claim that you don't want anymore, then it's kind of weird and odd. It's like, say for example, right, you try to get with a chick, right, and then she said no, and then you're like, all right, then fine. So you go out there, you get another girl, and then you get her Facebook account, and then you just keep sending her screenshots of you and that new girl, constantly try to be like, see, this is what you're missing. Yeah, see, yeah, that's the type of guy that you could have had this.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of vibe that I kind of get with some of these individuals. A lot of them are actually honest about what they're doing, right? They go their own way. They're not bugging nobody. They're not actually not being hateful about what they're saying or what they believe in, right? But there's like a minority of them that are very vocal, and these are the ones that say the most heinous things about the opposite gender.
Okay. So it's like kind of like the opposite of like the extreme feminist in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So yeah. And the thing about it is, like, when you criticize this individual, they now quickly try to hide behind that belief system. To the point now, SYSBM becomes a hate group because of these particular individual that make it sound like it's a hate group, but it's really not. Same thing with MGTOW, and same thing with feminism today.
My bad. I'm back, y'all. Damn, like something was wrong with my phone.
Hey, welcome back, man.
But you guys,
Wait,
I actually
I heard you are. You said
get ready.
we tried to take pictures and.
Yeah, we were talking. I was giving an example of like I was giving like ideological example, basically.
Okay, now
you guys, I have to go to sleep. I have work tomorrow, so
if that shows me that you are still thinking about me, and that, if anything, that only will boost my ego. So if my ex is trying to show people that she needs to get my attention, I feel bad for the dude. Like, damn, like, dog, your girl is still thinking about me she's trying to make me mad through you. That's terrible. I would never be with a woman like that. I've dealt with a woman like that in college, and I said, oh no.
I don't think you understand where I was coming from. We're not talking about this. I was giving an example of let's say MGTOW or SYSBM, right?
You know what those are, AJ?
What's up?
MGTOW and SYSBM?
No. Don't know. Who is that?
All right. Okay, good.
You can explain.
All right. So these are, they're like the opposite of feminism, right? So it's like you have the whole red pill movement. A lot of guys.
Yeah. Okay. I know what red pill is. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly. But then with the red pill philosophy, then you also have these, groups kind of coming through as, let's say SYSBN or all these acronyms.
Beta males.
Yeah. Whatever they call themselves, right? So then, even though they will preach the ideology of the red pill movement, but their action speaks differently. So then when I give the example and I said that it's kind of like when, okay, you said that you don't care about women and stuff like that, right? Or let's say you don't want to date black women, but you would then, it's similar to, let's say that you said a chick, you don't want to date the type of chick, and then, you still sneaking into her DM and just taking screenshot with you and another chick in order for her, in a way to try to make her jealous. That's the vibe that I kind of get with some of these individuals.
Right, but when it comes to red pill, I don't think the purpose of red pill is it's not about simply bashing women. It's about bashing bad behavior and habits, and it's about having self-respect for yourself. That's all that's about.
Yeah, but you're misunderstanding me, which is the same way earlier I misunderstood you. It feels like you're also misunderstanding me right now. So what I mean by this is like the ideology is fine. There's nothing wrong with
Mhm.
the ideology, right? Which is I
Mhm.
encourage every man to actually listen to this type of ideology.
Mhm.
However, you have guys that are hiding behind those ideology and still remaining toxic and still
Oh
remaining
yeah, oh
in the
yeah. No,
same
those are posers. We get that. There's a
exactly.
lot. Or, but I say there are posers, and then there are some men who until you fully understand what is something that you that's why you got to do your research about what something is, because you're right, there are dudes out there who say, yeah, I'm an independent red pill dude, I don't give a fuck about these women, but those are the same dudes that are commenting under those women's IGs talking about how they drink their bath water and how they worship the everything that they stand on. So I
Exactly.
get that. That's some, yeah, that's some contradictory shit. Now there's some of those guys out there who don't get that. Like, nah, man, you're not supposed to do that. Like, no, like what you doing? Because what you're saying here doesn't. I get what you're saying. A lot of people, they know they think they know the ideology behind something, but they don't really practice it. They're not in sync. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, you know,
I
there are
get that.
trendsetters and trend followers.
Oh yeah, no, it can't be no, but for the red pill men out there, they're really doing their thing. Like it's like it like I always say, it's never about bashing the women. I never want to bash the woman, but I will bash bad behavior. Just like if there are men doing fuck shit, I'm gonna bash that too. I am the equal opportunist. Like if you do stupid shit, I'm gonna call you out on it. Christina can contest to that. I don't care who you are. I just had to body a couple people a few weeks ago because of their ignorance. So it means, and these were males. Their stupidity is, and I think people don't like art is when you challenge their stupidity, when you challenge them against their own shit that they think they know and they really don't. I agree with you. There are some men out there that I hear say, "Oh well, fuck women, I can do all this," and then I'm like, "Yeah, but you literally just went back into this girl's DMs and contradicted everything you said."
Mm.
Like, be quiet. Like, that's the be quiet, man. Like, you need to go back and learn. So I get it. But the red pill thing, I really do believe that. I think, the red pill movement is showing a lot of these men that you don't have to lower your standards or your self-worth to get someone. That's dumb and that's ridiculous because it's not going to work. Like that's what a lot of these simps out here do. They literally do everything they can to get to with a certain woman, and the woman don't even respect them. They don't even respect the shit that they do. You know what I'm saying? You like, all right. You've seen them type of men that will do everything to try to get that woman's affection or respect, and she don't even respect them.
Oh, I know. I've seen that shit all the
Like
time.
those are the type. Yeah, I've dealt with men, and I'm like, dude, everything you're trying to do to please her, she don't even feel you that way.
And here's also the thing as well too, right? Because it's like this is what a lot of men in general have the perspective of marriage, because they feel like once you become a married man and stuff like that, then you lose that edge, or you lose that type of self-worth or self-respect, because your woman will stop disrespecting you, right? And then
It
which is
can
why,
be.
like, no, but listen, which is why a lot of men, you know they cannot get through that stage, let's say 10 years from now, for your woman to still treat you with that respect, to still look up to you. No, the shit. And that respect value is, what is respect to you? Respect is a level of admiration and fear. So your woman can admire you, but at the same time, she still have to fear you, right?
I don't
And
like the word fear. I say honor. Like for me, honor is a better appropriate term because when you honor someone, you will respect them. And it's not that you fear them, but you wouldn't want to do anything to compromise y'all's happiness. That's how I look at it.
yeah, but I'm talking about the fear. There's consequences to certain actions.
That's what I'm saying. The consequences alone, but you don't have to say fear, in my opinion. The consequences alone is I wouldn't want to do that because I love that person. So that's dumb. You fear the consequences, but not that person. It's like I fear if I do this, this was what will
Well, but
happen.
there's a still fear that's installed within that, though. Correct?
Oh
Fear
yeah,
of the
you could say
consequences.
that.
Oh yeah, that's where I'm
Yeah,
coming
no,
from.
there's consequences. There's always going to be there's
All
consequences.
right,
That's how I want to. But that's why I
but
say
then,
the word honor.
but
I
that's
say
my point.
honor.
All right, so we're not talking about the semantic, right? Because we're still talking about the same thing. However,
Hmm.
in a lot of relationship, that the fear of the consequences is gone from either one party or another. So once that happened, then that's when the disrespect started to occur. Because if someone can actually say something and do something and get away with it all the time, and then therefore it's gonna like, so it the marriage or the relationship gonna degrade it. And then so now you have some individual in those long-term relationship, they feel like the only way for them to feel like a man again, that's when they step outside of their relationship and fuck around and all this
Well,
shit.
no, that to me that is some immature as misguided men. You either misguided or you got some of the assholes. Because here's the thing: if you have to do that, first of all, what about the respect that you showing disrespect to your woman, and you showing disrespect to the other woman? This is why a lot of shit goes down, where like a lot of people get into drama and fights happen, or you bring a disease home to that girl. So that's what I'm saying. You got to understand the consequences. The same for the woman. When you step outside of that relationship, you are opening other doors to shit that you can't necessarily close.
Yeah, but
That's what I'm
AJ,
saying.
you and I agree in that fact. We both agree to it. So we arguing over the same thing that we agree upon. So it's not me actually saying that is the right thing to do. It's me actually, showing the light as of to why some of these guys do this thing. So that's why I believe that the whole red pill analogy, the red pill philosophy is helpful for these men in order for them to, regardless how long they've been in a relationship, they can still be able to have that, to be able to stand on their own 2 feet and be able to, stand up to their own women.
Oh
A
yeah,
lot
no,
of individual
red pill is simply red pill is what the men in the past were like. But unfortunately, especially for black men, due to the systematic oppression that we've had in the States, a lot of our young black men don't have those father figures that can establish that. So they have to go by what their mothers say, which is a terrible thing, because a woman can't teach a man how to be a man. So that's why they are all confused, and they go into what the woman's perspective is, and that's why they end up getting played, or they become suckers, or yeah, of course.
agreed. But the thing about it is, like, when we're looking at online, right, the whole all right, even though the people that are online that are talking about these things, right, it's
Yeah,
a minority compared
yeah,
to the whole. But
absolutely.
within that minority, there's a majority that is speaking on, it's not about to teach men how to be men, it's teaching men how to get laid. So
Yeah,
the aspect of, you know showing you how to be assertive, showing you how to be, let's say, to have that persona so women can respect you. It only, that they only show you that shit up to the part that you get some ass. But once the women start challenging you, they don't know how to fucking deal with this shit. Because once they get to the part of like, okay, you know, after 3 months, then what? When she stopped admiring you, then what? How do you keep it up to the point that she still look up to you after a year, after 2 years, after 3 years, after 5 years, after 10 years?
mm-hmm.
They're not gonna talk about like, listen, dude, shit's gonna happen in a relationship. You're gonna have some of the worst fucking fight, and then you're gonna have to make a decision: is it worth it for me staying, or do I have to leave? Right? And then
Mm-hmm.
how do you get over it to the point now you actually conquer those fight, you conquer those ego, and then therefore, like, to the point that the respect get reestablished again. And that's the part that is missing in that equation, because, like, yeah, your longest relationship been 3 years, that's true, but there's a lot more to go. And the thing about it is, like, the longer it keeps, the longer the relationship, the more you're gonna keep having new challenges. And then once you get to the point where, like, you can actually fight with your woman, and then she knows that you ain't going nowhere, and you know that she ain't going nowhere, that is perfect. You get to cuss each other out. You get to fucking, like, do whatever things may be to resolve that issue, that conflict, and that part is missing.
Yeah, but well, but I'm different, I guess, in my way, because I don't believe in, like, if I have to cuss at you and we have to go through shit like that, that's a toxic relationship. Because if I feel to the point where we're cussing each other out, disrespecting each other, and calling each other out our names, then the relationship's over to me, because I'm not gonna put myself in that position. Because if that happens, then later on the line, that's going to escalate to physical conflict, and I'm not about that shit. See, like, for me in a relationship, I'm no nonsense. Like, we can have disagreements, debate, but what we're not gonna do is disrespect each other. So I'm not gonna be no motherfuckers or bitch ass or a stupid ass nigga or none of that. No. Once you do that, we're done. I'm out of here. I don't have time for that shit.
So now the question is, if you don't think that, okay, that level of expression, that level of anger can never bubble up to the surface, right? That's okay. Pretty
I'm
much
not
like,
saying
okay,
it can't bubble up, but you
well,
shouldn't.
no,
That's
but
where
what I'm,
communication come in. We got to communicate because
yeah,
a
but
lot of people
listen,
don't
it's like
communicate.
kind of like spring cleaning, right? Sometimes when you clean up the house, you got to make a bigger mess, and then you rearrange shit. Correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yes. So then, some relationship can be toxic, and some relationship can actually find a way to get out of that toxicity. So that's what I mean by saying, like, once you're able to go through hell and back with your partner, then there's nothing else you cannot conquer.
Right, but once again, though, honestly, that's where a lot of relationships and couples, and including, and I'll speak on the men's part, cheating on your woman should not be a part of the going through hell. Why would you want to put your partner through that kind of hell? That's the dumbest shit, and that's why I laugh at these women when they do that shit. Like, yeah, we've been through a lot. He done cheated on me 4-5 times. I'm like, okay, you the dumbass, not him. Like, why would you stay with that? You don't deserve that. Going through hell and trial, yes, of course you're gonna have your trials and tribulations in relationships, but cheating and fist smacking and disrespecting, you calling out your name, that should not be a part of the going through shit. It can happen, but that's very rare, because how many people are that go through that shit like that on a consistent basis of that toxicity, and they end up on a positive note? People I know, for the most part, it ends up in a violent situation.
I went through that shit. Me and my girl both went through some of the crazy shit. Okay. And here we are.
Hey, I feel you, man, but it takes a level of commitment. But like you said, you're the minority on that one. The majority of people, they end up going to jail and killing each other, or some other crazy shit happens. Look at Bobby and Whitney. They had to separate. That was toxic.
Well, here's the thing as well, too, right? Okay, look. Did you grow up here in the States?
Yeah.
All right, good. This is one of the mentality that I see here in the States, right? We live in a throwaway culture. But I mean, let's say, okay, your laptop gets fucked up. Instead of like try to fix it, you throw that shit away. You get another one. Your car's giving you some trouble. Instead of like constantly fixing that shit, you just get another one, right? Yeah. I come from Haiti. My girl come from Poland, and we both come from a culture to which, like, once you dedicate yourself to someone, right? And therefore, when we say, like, till death do us part, we truly mean this shit. Till death do us part. So now, because of our culture, and then we understood what it is to actually have someone by your side, to work shit out, to actually work through disagreement and everything, right? So then, therefore, we had the chance to go through some of the worst aspects of our life, to show each other our demon, and to be able to cure that, to actually confront our demon, and then to go over that and be better person for it. So when it feels good, man, to be able to, like, some of the shit that we go through, we all fucked up to one degree or another, right? We all have certain trauma that we have to deal with. Yeah. But however, it's very hard to meet someone that's willing to go through that drama with you, and then for you to go through her trauma with her as well. And that part is missing, because, like, everybody's about the self. It's like, man, I ain't putting up with this shit, and to a certain degree, how can I fault them? A lot of people cannot go through some of these aspects. So that's why, like, when I was an asshole, when she was a cunt, and then, going back and forth fighting and all this shit and all this toxicity, to the point that we find a way to conquer it, to conquer the negative aspect of our lives, and then to be a better person for it. But that take a lot of commitment, that take a lot of drive, and that take also the cultural background that we had, to which, like, someone that you care about, you don't leave that person behind.
Yeah. Now what you just said about America is you correct. Now that's a whole nother different segment that I won't even go to. Yes, other countries, they are more committed within their partners. I think here in America, like, the roles have been blurred so much. That's why a lot of shit is the way it is. But there are also some upsides to American, because, like, people, like, unfortunately, in the old world countries, let's just be real. There are certain things that women that do in America, that shit will never go fly in another world, like in the Arab world. A woman better not ever backtalk her man. Shit, he cut her face off before he let her do that. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but when it comes to, I feel like when you get with someone, you of course you want to accept the flaws and everything, but for me, I would not want to bring the baggage, negative aspect of my past into my relationship. Now we can talk about it and work it out, but there's a difference between talking things out, as you know, and bringing it in. You talk about, this is what I went through, this is what happened to me, maybe in my previous relationship, just so you know why the way I am to a certain degree. But people don't do that anymore. A lot of people are bringing that old baggage in without the communicating of why. You know?
Well, yeah, but that's also part of growing up, because sometimes we don't know how to express our, certain part of ourselves, right?
Agree.
And then therefore the outburst tends to come out from an emotional perspective, not from a logical perspective. And until you understand why you behave the way you behave, and then to be able to explain that to your partner, why you are a dick, why you are an asshole, and vice versa, then these little outbursts might come out. But once you find a way to, like, and also that has to do with sometimes when you take a look within the past of the person that you're with, their upbringing, to find out some of the bullshit that they went through, some of the bullshit that I went through, and then you have a greater understanding of that person. And that takes vulnerability, and not too many people can afford to be vulnerable with the person that you're with, and vulnerability takes time. So some walls gets broken down after a year, some walls get broken down after 3 years, some walls get broken down after 5 years. So it's all, so that's why I said that, like, regardless how long you guys been together as a couple, then there's always going to be something new to learn from your partner, something interesting to learn. So and when you exactly, but when you break up and then you get with another person, you have to start that process all over again.
And that's okay, because for me personally, I can't do that anymore and try to look for that closure with the other person that don't want me, because to me, I am continuing to really devalue myself. I don't need them to understand, because here's the thing, me continuing to look for something that ain't there anymore, I'm playing myself.
Well, yeah, I mean, with your age right now, it's different, because like when I got married when I was 24, right? Okay. So right now you're 31 and stuff like that. So then therefore, there's the lack of history is already missing, and then the older you are, then the more you actually willing to the less patient that you have to certain shit, right?
Well, the thing is, when the more older you get, though, the more you realize you can't bullshit. That's why in your 20s and stuff, people do the things they do. Like in the women department, like they will leave that good guy out there because they want to live through their 20s and do the shit the way they want to do it. But then sometimes they realize, oh, I'm getting in my 30s, I can't continue to behave this way. And then they expect that dude to be there, or when they go through their wars and they shit, they have 4-5 kids later, then they want that same person to accept them. And should that guy do it? No. He should be like, no, kick rocks. So that's what I'm saying. You waiting on somebody else to heal to me is the worst thing to do, because how do you know that they're not going to just continue to open those wounds? You got to have yourself healing first. In a way, you got to forgive yourself first for being upset, because there's a lot of people don't forgive themselves. We go through another relationship like, damn, I can't believe, I'm still upset over this. Once again, self-healing is the most important thing. You might not never get that closure with that other person. That's all I say, Art. I've tried it before, and the shit, I still haven't gotten closure. And that's all right, because I know that I didn't do anything, that I did everything I could to make it work, but she didn't want to do that. So it's okay. And it's working out for me better in life, because she's not with that guy anymore and she got destroyed. That dude left her for her cousin, and they're married and they got kids and shit. Now she tried to hit me up out of the blue, and there was nothing for us to discuss. And I told her, I said, I apologize, but there's nothing for you and I to discuss. There's nothing to talk about.
Which is kind of interesting, right? Because it's like, we don't know what relationship might work. We don't know what relationship might not work. So it's always a gamble. So that's why I understand your perspective, and you also understand my perspective. Because just because he worked for me doesn't mean that's going to work for everyone else. Just because he works for you doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone else, right? So because I have the type of mindset, I was more like, fuck it, what do I got to lose, right? And then because my curiosity of there's something about her that I was able to dig into to find out. And then that actually helps me on the long run. Just like there was something about me that she keeps digging and find out until all the walls were broken down.
Right.
But like I said, is the culture of like, fuck fixing the laptop when I can just get a new one, right? Why keep fixing the car when I can get a new one? And all this shit. But there's also,
but sometimes people are fixing things that is not worth fixing. That's
yes, and that I agree with you too as well, which is what I was gonna say. And there's also the type of entitlement to which, like, well, just because I went through some shit, you should be always understandable of what I'm coming through. You know, and that's where the self-respects come from, the moral compass come from, to which is like, okay, this is what I will accept, this is what I will not accept. And regardless of who you are, then this is my moral stand. And your moral stand should always be more important than your relationship.
Absolutely, because that's going to help both parties build. You can't like that. You ever heard that old saying where there was like, there's always someone in the relationship that like you more than the other?
Well, yeah, the power of the relationship reside with the one who cares the least.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and it's one of those things where it can go both ways. I get where they're going, but at the same time, I don't. That's why I believe like you got to try to find a way to have it to be 50-50 at least. When you're in a relationship, I look at it like this: that should be my icing on the cake. I should be the cake by myself. Me being with you should be like a bonus. You don't want the unnecessary drama. I think a lot of people don't understand that. That's why I always go back to validation shifts. Like, Art, would you be fine by yourself in life?
Yeah.
If it, God willing, like, hopefully it doesn't ever happen. But
yeah,
would you
I'll be
okay?
fine by myself, just like my girl will be fine by herself.
Okay.
I'm at this point in my life right now. It's like we're together not because we have to, but because we want to.
Amen. And congratulations to you both for that.
And
that's good.
And that is, I think, that is the part where I think people should thrive for when it comes to a relationship. You want to be with someone because you truly want to be with that person, and vice versa. And that goes
we don't have that. Everybody, especially nowadays in this generation, we don't have that. We have a lot of perceptionism, narcissism, and just
entitlement, all
entitlement, all the dumbest things. When it like we're at a point now where you can't even just walk up to someone and say, "Hey, I'm interested in you. I would like to get to know you." It's like people want to be with people that don't want to be with them. Ain't that the dumbest shit you ever heard? I'm like, it's like literally, it's like a cycle of just a dog chasing another dog that and they never catch him. It's like running around in a circle. It's like a hamster. You running on that damn thing for no reason, and you're not getting anything. You're not having no benefits out of it.
Part of that, right, is this whole self-grandeur or self-gratification, to which, like, you think you deserve someone because of who you are, type of shit. It's like you have, a 3 chasing a 9, or someone with this type of shortfall try to get the best of the crop, versus try to get someone that you understand, you get along with, you actually at least friends with, and then from there you go from that.
Well, this is we're very like I said, once again, a perception thing. Just like you said with Whitney, it's like you asked her those same questions, but then when you said, well, what about AJ? Then her mind went, you see what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's like, that's why, I told you, I got 5 sisters, and I've called them out on this shit, the same thing. I'm like, all right, you said this, but you ain't dating this person down the street, and you just said you wanted these qualities, and he has it. So what's wrong? So once again, people say certain things, but then they contradict themselves with their actions. That's why I believe your actions and your words need to be on point, because you got to have both. Like they say, actions speak louder than words. That can be true sometimes, but both got to be in sync, because your actions and your words, if they're not in sync, you can mislead somebody. Like I could give Christina a compliment, but if my actions don't show that she's just my friend, she can mistaken that for something else, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm. What's your
Because I've done
perspective
that.
in this whole thing, Christina?
My perspective? Man,
She hasn't been paying attention. She's just been reading the comment section and shit.
Probably.
I mean, I have been reading the comments too. Looking at everybody, well, this payback guy and series over here battling them off. Oh my gosh. My perspective on, I mean, which point that y'all have made. Y'all been talking about
she wasn't listening.
I was listening, but I'm saying what point exactly do y'all want my perspective?
Basically, we were talking about the type of entitlement and narcissism that you actually see here in the West, especially when it comes to the dating.
Yeah.
The dating sector, the dating scene.
Yeah, and was it you said and people feel like because of the way that we are, who we are, we feel like we should have somebody. And that I guess that contributes to that sense of entitlement.
Yeah, because Beyonce should be with me right now. That's my boo. Jay-Z should get smacked just like I'm looking at her back in the day. I'm like, you have any man you want and you choose a camel? Damn it.
A camel.
Come on, it looks like that cigarette camel.
All right, so so what are some of the questions that you guys might have?
Well, shit. I mean, I look at it like this. Like you said, for closure, should people try to? If that's the case, what about people who were in relation, who were trying to be with somebody that they never had? So it was like you wanted someone, but you never got with them. Because I tell people it's the same way. Even if you weren't in a relationship with them, you still carried that same type of relationship emotions. Like there's a guy, dudes I know that been with a girl that wanted to be with a girl, but she never gave him the reason why she wasn't interested. She never gave him closure. She never gave him an answer, a yes or no. It was always beating around the bush. What would you say to those guys? I already know what I would say. Because you said
move the fuck on
for a closure.
No, this is what I mean by the closure thing, right? So is when we go through certain experience and then we never understood why it happened to us. And then therefore we kind of carry a certain level of attitude in the next relationship, or sometimes we end up hurting the people that are around us that care about us, right? And therefore, if we don't take the time out to understand why we behave a certain way, why we have a certain attitude, for some people, closure happens to be the red pill movement. To them, it's like that kind of answer a lot of the questions that they had in past relationships. Like, so I was a simp back then. I was doing certain shit that I should have done back then. So to them, that's their level of closure. To other people, they had to go through, let's say they're in a relationship and then they for some reason, they act like a fucking selfish asshole to this chick that is actually a good person. And then over time, they start to realize like, damn, why am I treating the person that really care about me like shit? What the fuck is wrong with me? Right. And then now they're able to now try to figure out, okay, why am I this way? And then they solve those issues and then they become a good person afterward. So that's their closure, and it goes vice versa. So there's different ways to go about that closure, but you have to be able to, self-analysis as to why you do the shit that you do.
I like that you said it, because that's what I always tell the young men that you coach and stuff and that I talk to. To me, that's the closure, self-closure. Okay, like you said, every man, if you can't admit that you've done some simp shit back in the day, then you ain't lived life. I know I've done simp shit.
Hell yeah, man.
And I had to really go, oh, damn, I did do that. Damn, I did say this. Damn, I did pour my heart a little too fast out there. Damn it, exactly. I put this girl on the pedestal, because I always say, anytime you put someone above you, where can they only look? Below you. So I always say it like this. I've learned my lesson now, not to put my heart out there too fast, and then sometimes the answer that you don't get is the answer. I hate that shit, but that's just how I have to accept it. Everybody's not direct like me. For me, I'd rather a woman, she could literally say, AJ, you're beneath me. I think you ugly. Please don't talk to me. I would respect that. Then if I ask the woman, she goes, well, I'm just going through a little something in my life right now. Nah, fuck that. You already know if you want me or not, or if you're interested. It's a yes or no question. I hate when people turn a yes and no question to bullshit, and they don't unless it's an extenuating circumstance.
Deflections.
But yeah, deflections. Don't straw it. I need you to answer the question. Are you interested or not? And a lot of people, unfortunately, especially in the States, can't do that. Because once again, like I said, you want something that don't want you, which is the dumbest thing. And that's why you got a lot of women out there single with 4 kids, or, you know, they use their body to get attention, and they think that, like, they're going to have that respect, but after a certain while, they ran through and then they're broken, and then they want that same good guy that they weren't interested in the past to fix them or accept them, and then when they say no, then it's all men are trash. And it's like, no, maybe your decision making and you as a person was trash.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you know, it's vice versa. You have like both parties, you know. It's like you have one group saying all women are shit. You have another group saying all men are shit.
Yeah,
so then it's like
there's no accountability on a lot of people's part, and that's what I love to preach. Just like, all right, if you do some fuck shit, you need to own your shit. There's no need to have an excuse of why you did it. That's why I say for the men that cheat, or for anybody that cheats, it's like, no, it ain't no excuse. You did what you did, especially because here's the thing: a lot of cheaters don't communicate, especially for the men. Women too. Women are better at cheating than men.
Oh yeah.
You could have lost your woman 3 years in a relationship while y'all were dating 5 years. You could have lost her 3 years ago, and you'll never know. So that's what I'm saying. The accountability has to be there for people. I can't stand people when they go, okay, I did this, but you led me to do that. No, fuck that. You did that because you wanted to do it. It's the same. It's the same principle. Both sides got to have accountability. Now, I'm not going to go into if men or women have more accountability. That's a whole nother story that I'll get into another time. Yeah, accountability is the most important thing that people lack. And unfortunately, that's why I don't have, when it comes to closure, there was a girl back in the day, Art, that I chased after for years. And she never gave me a straight answer. She was doing what I would say, you ever heard the expression checking the temperature? She wanted to always see if she still had me. And sometimes I would be a fool about the shit. But then when I called her out on it, when I finally put my foot down, you know what she did? She blocked me.
Hey.
But you know what? Somebody thought that was the worst thing. I laughed because now I realized, because I called her out on her bullshit, she didn't have the accountability, and she had an emotional reaction. Because you already know, if a woman don't give a shit about you, she don't care what you say. She'll just get and brush it off and be like, yeah, whatever, nigga. I'll talk to you in 3 days when you all right. To see that she did that showed me, oh yeah, I got to you. So I actually won in the end, because it's like, now she gonna be the one looking stupid, because I guarantee you, I give it another 6 months, she'll be the one re-adding me and ask me how I'm doing, not the other way around.
And man, listen, sometimes lessons that learned in pain are soon forgotten, and we have to be grateful for some of our past mistakes, as so long as we learn from those experiences. And if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, that is the definition of insanity.
Definition of insanity, exactly. And I had to change that because I was driving myself crazy. I'm like, AJ, the fuck, nigga, you done went to this woman's job, you done gave her gifts, you done all this. Wake the fuck up. It's okay. She might not be the one for you. Keep it moving.
Yeah.
So that's what I had to do. And that's
exactly.
Okay.
But listen, man, dude, you pretty cool, man. I like your mindset.
I appreciate it. I like yours too. I like your different perspectives. I like how you tried to put me and Wit on the spot. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She like me. She like me.
Hey, no problem, man.
She like me. And look, if you want to, my man, follow my podcast. It's Talk TV. You can find us on IG.
Hold on, let me
Twitter.
write that shit down real quick. Hey, seriously,
initial question of this whole thing
about men
cheating on girlfriends versus wives. Like it's still
there's
bad.
There's no difference. There's no difference, Christine.
Okay, that's what I thought.
There's no difference. A man is going to cheat. Once again, it's the character of that man. A marriage, if he can't be good in a relationship, then don't marry the motherfucker. So if somebody cheats on you in a relationship and you see that he didn't learn from that and there's no growth, cut his ass loose.
I'm glad you
I feel
say
like
growth.
women out here,
I am glad you fucking say growth, right? Here's the thing, right? I'm glad you say growth, because a lot of time, right? We get into a relationship, we haven't grown yet.
Haven't
And
grown at
then
all.
so then the experience, and sometimes we make some of the worst mistakes out there in the relationship.
Hell yes.
And
I
you know,
know.
and when and with and one of the things that I disagree with about is that, like, you know, as soon as the man did her wrong and shit like that, automatically you cut that person off, right? But there are room for mistakes, but you also gotta have the room for improvement. And this is the titter tattering a lot of women go through. It's like, okay, if I stay with this guy, I'm gonna look stupid. What if he doesn't change, right? And then sometimes the person actually do change, and then now you already cut him off, and then some other chick's gonna reap that reward of the guy that you could have been with, you know.
Okay,
And
well,
or
let me ask you
sometimes,
this.
yep,
I
or
want to ask you
sometimes,
this, Art.
oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, now in that same term, like, what is the difference between an apology and sorry? Because there's a big difference. What does sorry and apology mean to you?
Sorry you got caught.
And what is an apology?
Apology is mean like, I'm not gonna do that again. I
Right.
see, I
But
understand
an apology.
I understand the errors of my way, and I'm gonna try to mend that shit. I'm gonna fix it.
Exactly. So that's the difference. A lot of women don't understand a relationship. When you apologize, it's in a way, it's like confessing. We're like, you know how when we pray to God, we confess our sins. We don't say, God, it's your fault because you made the temptation of the world too good. He ain't gotta hear that shit. You confess why you were wrong and how no matter whatever happened, you made that decision. Can you forgive me for what I've done? Like you said, sorry is my bad shit. Like, my bad, girl. I'm sorry, girl. Like, sorry is just a weak excuse. So that's a lot of
Yes,
people
but
don't know what
here's
that
the
is.
thing, though, right? Okay, like, which is what I said earlier before you come on there, is that, like, if you're gonna stop cheating because of your girl, then therefore you haven't really learned anything. You're gonna continue doing it again. It is something that you have to know for yourself, that why it is unproductive.
If I have to
No,
Art, I will tell a woman, if I
yeah,
have to cheat,
but
I'm just gonna
listen,
cheat. I'm just gonna break up with you and be like, hey, I just want to fuck other women right now. I'm sorry. Like,
exactly.
no disrespect, but that men who don't do that are cowards. You are a coward if you allow yourself, because there's a difference between a liar and a deceptive person. A deceptive person is worse because you are creating a false image to this woman who doesn't know your true intentions. And you are carrying, and a deceiver will carry that shit for years and years. A liar, I've lied before. I told a chick I was in the NFL. She fell for that shit. That's her fault. Not gonna lie. I told her I was a third string running back. I had the
Man.
physical features to do it, but she fell for it. But I didn't promise her love and happiness. I just said what I had to do tonight to get some ass. Be like that sometimes. You just gotta be but that's why I say there's a difference. There's levels to that shit. When you are a deceiver, and that can go for women too, because there are a lot of women out there who are big time deceivers. Like, there are women out there that I've called out. I'm like, no, it's not that you wouldn't date me. You won't date me because I don't provide the exterior thing that you say you want. Like, I don't provide enough clout for you. Like, I guarantee you, if my podcast blow up like it will in a couple months, if I get on Breakfast Club status, those same women will come back to me and want me. You know what I'm saying? Then they'll want to do things with me, not because, oh, I've really seen the good in AJ. Oh, now AJ can get me somewhere. AJ got clout. AJ got money. AJ can make me feel special.
All right,
Or if I
listen. I'm glad you say that, right? I'm glad you say that. But now here's the thing. Here's one of the things that I actually try to talk to a lot of individual, right? Some guys have the illusion that, well, you know what? Once I'm in that $100,000 bracket, once I'm 6-figure, blah blah blah, then that's when I'm gonna get serious. However, now it's like, if she didn't want you when you had nothing, then what makes you think that she actually want you for you, not for your money when you have something?
It depends on that woman. It depends on her integrity. Now, I agree with what you're saying, but like I said, there are women right now where it's like, my stock isn't up, or like, she's for sale, I just can't afford it. Like, I can't afford it. That's how it is. There's a lot of women out there like that, where it's like, I'll give it to you, but you can't afford me right now. But like you said, there's a lot of women, because if you go to DC, my dude, a lot of them fat looking Punjab stomach motherfuckers, they be having the baddest women that I've ever seen. And I'm like, she damn sure ain't there for his looks. And the way he act, he an asshole. I'm like, so she don't like him for his character. So it's that moolah. So that, but once again, if that's all they offer, then that's all the man is going to treat you anyway. That goes back to the full circle of it. What does that man want from you in the first place? It's like, what do women and men want from each other in the first place? You know what, both sexes know what they want between the first, like, all right, you was a young man back in the day. There's certain chicks you probably looked at like, I just want
to smash. Exactly.
That I just want to smash. And then you got the, I could date her for a while. Then you got the, I need to spend the rest of my life with her. But there's a lot of men out there who can't admit that. I can't. I'm going to speak my mind. There are certain women I know. I'm like, I can't take you serious, boo. We can smash. But if you can't handle that, then kick rocks. But like, that's why I always ask women, can you handle that? That doesn't mean that that's all you're worth. That just means at that moment, this man, that's all he sees you as. Now, that's a whole nother topic for another discussion, but I'm just throwing that out there.
Man, listen, whatever it is, I'm happy that I was able to actually get the person that I wanted. The person that I can spend the rest of my life with. Actually, just, I can see myself 80 years from now on the porch smoking a blunt with my girl and just chatting shit to each other. Like, remember when we were like 25 and then, you said this and then, I was doing the helicopter with my dick, and my balls reaching my knees, all this shit. That's what the fuck I like, man.
I'm here with you, man. I'm here with you, dog. Like, shit. But for right now, it's all about, I'm waking up to go to the gym, to work out, go to work, get that paper, make this podcast grow. And if a woman comes to my life that's worth it, cool. Or if there's a woman that just want to give up the cheeks, that's cool too.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. So you know what the fuck you want, and you going for it.
Hey, I always say there's two things that need to happen. It needs to be safe and consensual. We just need, especially in the States nowadays.
She learns life just said that you just ruined your chance with her.
Hey, there's always other chances.
Oh man.
But hey, once again though, man, if you want, spread the gospel of Ish Talk TV on here, please. Ish Talk TV.
Ish Talk TV.
We're on every Thursday. Let me write that shit
down. All right, my dudes. Yeah. So and then my channel is Art Benaca. Check it out as well.
Yeah, both of the channels.
Sounds good.
2 hours, 17 minutes.
So, Art, let me ask you this: Are you Jamaican or Trinidad?
Haitian.
Haitian. That's right. You said Haitian. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. So, were you born in Haiti?
Yeah, I was born in Haiti. I came here when I was 13.
I know a lot of Haitians. I'm from Tampa. So.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, man. That's the thing. The Zoe Nation.
I'm gonna get off this because I got football talk now. I got a
football
Sounds good,
man.
I gotta go to.
All right, AJ. It was nice to meet you, man.
You too, brother. Christina, always a pleasure.
Of course. Good to have you, both of you on my channel for the first time. I've been on Art's channel before. When I was on yours, 2 weeks ago?
That's right. And that was an epic moment. But we'll laugh about this in person. I'll holler. Y'all be easy.
All right. Take care, my dude.
One thing, stay black.
All right. Guys that have been watching, thank you as well. It's been a little long, but it was definitely an interesting conversation. I know I took kind of a backseat on this one, but I think it was still good conversation among you guys.
Yeah, I know, man. It's like we pretty much like, I don't, why you let me narrate your own channel, man?
I mean, it's just y'all are just quite passionate about your stuff, I was like, let me just chill, let y'all talk.
All right, cool. Well, listen, I appreciate you having me over and stuff. And then, it was a good conversation.
It was.
So it was like a little bit all over the place, stuff like that. But then again, that's
way off the topic, but it's still good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
related.
Yeah, AJ and Whit, cool people. So that's awesome. Yeah. All right. So Tina, I appreciate you having me on. and I'm out of here. Thank you guys for all of y'all in the channel.
Bye, guys.
Chat. I'll see you guys some other time. All right, peace.
Bye.
Bye.